Conley. Fluffed his lines there, Conley. Finucci. Got Pinkston taining through the middle at the moment. Finucci. And he goes, Finucci. Oh, he's done it! Short-handed Carlo Finucci has won it for the Flyers. Short-handed. Unbelievable end to the game. Flyers were on a penalty kill and won the game by 3-2 in overtime. Unbelievable scenes here at Five Ice Arena. And it's all down to that man, Finucci. Wins it for the Flyers.
Welcome, GOAT fans. This is the big man, and I am back in the GOAT Radio headquarters and in the GOAT Garage, and I am joined by, with Carlo Finucci, former professional hockey player. He's joining me over video conference here. Finucci, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I wish I was in the GOAT Garage. That background looks majestic.
Oh, man.
Having jerseys here to hang up behind me to fit in, but that looks unreal. I love being in there.
Absolutely. We're going to get you in here pretty soon. And yeah, we keep adding here, like, especially one of my favorite jerseys is up right now. Rick Rippon's jersey. It's actually an authentic practice jersey. It was handed after practice to one of our brothers, Bobich. And you know what? A little highlight of this episode. It's an important day today. You know, the Vancouver Canucks, they started a campaign in honor of Rick Rippon in 2013 called Hockey Talks. And it's been a great campaign initiative for mental health awareness. And, you know, I am a very strong advocate for mental health awareness. After my hockey career, I got into psychiatric nursing, been a nurse for about 6-7 years. And you know what? It surrounds us. It's invisible, but it touches all of us. You know, looking back on all my teams, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50% of the team, the players were battling something, either minor or major. So, you know, it's Bell Let's Talk Day today. Let's reach out, get the help you need, please. It's an important day, Finucci. Yeah,
definitely. It's good we're doing this Zoom interview and happens to fall on Bell Let's Talk Day, and it is a very important initiative. And like you said, everyone's going through something minor or major, and it's important for people to talk, and especially guys kind of in our situations, like when we were playing and stuff. It's not easy. It wasn't that easy to come forward to talk to people about it. There wasn't that much out there. Now there is, and I think it's important for people to use those avenues to help themselves be better on and off, the field or ice or whatever, in the office and whatever they're doing.
Well said. And for all the listeners and viewers out there, if we can just get one person to reach out and get the help they need, in our books, this will be a successful episode.
Big time, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So Nucci, we want to get into your career a little bit. It was a absolute ride. You're retired now. You had you played for teams all over North America and Europe, and it all started. The jersey I'm wearing, the Burnaby Minor Hockey Association, the home of Burnaby Joe Sakic, the GOAT to come out of Burnaby, the GOAT to come out of British Columbia. Well, arguably, there's Scott Niedermayer in there.
Yeah, Burnaby Joe grew up in Burnaby, so that was kind of always a nickname we had for him. Maybe it wasn't as known to people outside of BC or Canada, but he's probably the greatest player to come out of this area. And also I spent a lot of my time at the Burnaby Winter Club as well.
Yeah.
So I played for both associations, and those were, some of the funnest times of my life growing up playing hockey, before it got, too serious and difficult. So it was a lot of fun growing up and playing. Made a lot of good friends and at both places, and
Yeah.
it was great to be able to play on both sides.
Yeah. Speaking of good friends, all of us played, for the Burnaby Minor Associations here. We all went to Burnaby Central. We all had our great memories, including the Sardis Street house that the boys used to go to, where Vacation Steve had a pretty much an open invite to the city of Burnaby in there. Just completely nuts.
Yeah, that was like high school days. There was a lot of shoes at the front entrance.
Yeah.
I think some eggs might have made their way into a few of those at some point, if I remember. But,
I remember that. Yeah.
there was that was a good time. That's when I really start to get to know you guys and your family, and
Yeah.
we had a lot of fun there and still are.
It kind of reminded me of one of the Goat Boys movies, old school, with Frank the Tank. Those kind of scenes.
Oh yeah,
Anyways,
that was,
yeah,
unreal time.
yeah, back to hockey. So in high school, I think you found out, and I think we all found out, you were pretty damn skilled at hockey. So you started your junior career, PIJHL, the Pidge, with the legendary Poco Buckaroos, and then I want to get into this next squad. You cracked an absolute heavyweight roster with the Burnaby Express. That must have been unreal, playing in your hometown junior A team.
Yeah, it was pretty special. I think that summer I went to that global showcase, they call it. It's not really like that special in the sense like people get picked for it. It's literally you pay your money, you go and play a bunch of scrimmages over the weekend, and there's supposed to be a bunch of scouts and stuff from different universities or junior A teams or things like that. And luckily, one of the games, Rick Lands was on the bench because I'll have coaches kind of circulating through the teams' benches. In that weekend, he was on the bench one game and had a good game. Spoke to him after, and that's kind of how I got the ball rolling. Started to skate and train with them later in the summer. Then I got mono.
Yeah, I remember that.
Uh,
You looked like I don't know what the hell that was.
that was freaky. I turned green and lost 15, 20 pounds. It was pretty nuts. So I missed training camp, missed the first 10 games. I remember my first skate back, I puked my guts out. So I missed the first 10 games, didn't even go to camp that year, and still got an opportunity. And then with some trades, some guys moving to the WHL and things like that, I was able to stick on that team that first year and enjoy a pretty crazy ride.
Yeah. Speaking of crazy ride, you got a nice fat ring out of that year. You guys just won it all. Like I said, stacked team, one of the best assembled teams I say in the BCHL in history. I'm looking at the roster here. You got guys like McNails, Tyler McNeely. We trained with him a few years. That guy was a powerhouse. You had newly acquired Jovan Matic. His sticks in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And then who else? You had Brad Hunt even coming in. That guy's a vet in the NHL. You had the GOAT coming out of New Westminster. You had Mark Sanarelli. Yeah, Kyle Turris. You had Mark Sanarelli. I can go on. This squad.
Keith Seabrook.
Yeah.
We talk about that till this day, how many guys ended up moving on to whether it was college, pro, NHL. There's a lot of guys that ended up, playing past junior on that team, and it goes to show just how good that group was. And like you said, assembled, because it wasn't from the beginning the same team all the way to the end. There was trades made. There was guys that left for WHL that year. There was a bunch of moves that happened, and man, that team was unreal. We just steamrolled our way through it all.
Yeah, you won the BCHL, you won the Doyle, and then
Yeah, it
you
ended
won.
up being like 90 something games that we played, I think. 4 BCHL rounds, a Doyle Cup round against Fort Mac, against which was the Alberta champion, and then 5 games at the RBC Cup.
Yeah. I remember some guys lost like 20, 30 pounds. I remember Mark Santarelli. He looked like a bone rack after playing all those games.
Yeah,
That
we
was,
looked weird, man. Like, because
yeah,
we dyed our hair for like the start of playoffs. By the time we stopped playing, like 3 months later, there was like the ends were blonde, and like our our regular hair color was coming through.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then we had like we're 8, 16, 17, 18, 20 year olds with like greasy playoff beards. Like, we looked probably like homeless people by the time we were done. So just pale, and yeah, it was a crazy run, man, and it was a lot of fun. It was nice to shave off the greasy beard and celebrate for a few weeks. I think we rode it out for, because it was, by then it was end of May, and weather was nice, so we were going around to backyards and soaking it all in.
Absolutely. And then, you became one of the leaders after the next couple of years, and then you got your scholarship to the University of Alaska Fairbanks Nanooks. That must have been quite a ride. You played in the CCHA, Big Ten schools, Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State. How was that travel? That must have been fucking nuts.
Yeah, like you said, that conference, is the old CCHA, was basically the big draw of really going um, to Alaska, and just the hockey program there was first class. So being able to play against those schools you mentioned, and how strong that conference was, and the travel was pretty crazy. Every other week we were leaving on a Tuesday night red eye from
Yeah.
Fairbanks, getting into wherever it was, let's say Wednesday afternoon, straight to a rink to practice, dinner, sleep. Then we had Thursday practice. Then we play Friday night, Saturday night, and then fly home Sunday. So it was
Wow.
pretty crazy travel schedule. It was nice to get out of Alaska, especially during the winter, for 4 or 5 days. And even though we were going out to the East Coast, which wasn't like warm or anything, but just a little change of pace for us, and we got to do a lot of cool things while we were on the road, like NHL games, and touring, baseball stadiums, NFL stadiums, things like that, to keep to make it a little fun, and during our free time on the road. So it
Yeah.
was it was crazy, yeah.
Yeah, lots of great time with the boys, I'm sure, on the planes. And I got to ask, were you guys handed the midterm exams for the road, or what? When did you guys
Uh,
attend?
we weren't handed the exams. They were given to our coaching staff
Yeah.
to proctor any exams that we had to absolutely do while we were on the road. If we didn't, then they would be proctored when we were back at school. We were the only Division 1 program at the school, so there was a lot of help from teachers, with letting us leave
Yeah.
for all that time, and giving us, whether it was slight extensions, or even fellow students helping us with notes and things like that, to get us through it all. And we always had a lot of pressure from our coaches to maintain certain grade point averages as individuals and as a team. So if you weren't pulling your weight in the classroom, you're definitely sitting out or missing games, or weren't going to go on road trips if you were failing or falling behind.
Yeah. So I always ask this question to all my, former professional hockey players. Who in college, who's the GOAT player you played with or against? And I'm sure there's a long list that are playing in the NHL right now, but who's one guy you remember?
For me, playing with was probably my first year. Our goalie was Chad Johnson. He had a signed with the Rangers out of college. Then went and played for a few places after that. He was insane when I played with him. We weren't a very good team, but we finished like second in the CCHA and went to the CCHA Final Five or Final Four, sorry, and he carried us. I think we got shut out 12 or 14 times that year.
Yeah.
And we still finished second in the league, because if we scored a goal, we're like, we're gonna win tonight. It was like that's all it took, because he was so good.
Yeah.
So he's probably the best guy I played with during my time in Alaska. And then I would a guy that just comes to mind would be like Torrey Krug, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He was at Michigan State.
Yeah.
They weren't very good those when he was there, when I was playing against him, but he would just pick it up behind the net and just wheel, and
Yeah.
like you couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
But like you said, the amount of guys that I played against that are still playing in the NHL, it's pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
Carl Hagelin was another one from Michigan. He was kind of the guy that was like, man, this guy's the most NHL ready that I, first couple of years would have played against. And he stepped right into the NHL, and he's been won a Stanley Cup. He's been a mainstay throughout his NHL career.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a taste of Krug when I was out there. Oh, just flew by me.
Yeah,
it was nuts.
That was just wheel. That's it.
Yeah. Awesome. So awesome NCAA career. And you know what? When you were done, you graduated and you wanted to continue the game you loved. You continue to live the dream. And you know what? You did it in one of the GOAT cities in all of the Americas and might be globally. Las Vegas, the Wranglers. Man, I got to ask you this. Honestly, I was thinking about this. How did you guys make it to practice or your games? Must have been a situation where you're like, holy shit, I cannot attend the practice. Like, wait,
yeah,
like,
first,
let me just, how didn't you just, you go out to breakfast with the boys, you see a slot machine, you put $5 in, and then you see, oh, it's another beautiful day. You see a nice bartender in a nice little bikini. You go outside, you hear the boom boxes, the music. Next thing you know, you got Tadu, our boy, inviting you to Wet Republic. You head in there. Next thing you know, you got drinks down your throat, and then you got Steve Aoki throwing a cake in your face, and then you got practice in a couple hours or a game. How do you play in Vegas?
Luckily, the pool parties were not going from like the time I would get there in October till they open up in March.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like you said, it's we practiced in the morning, so if you got a late night, I'm sure that's why there was guys calling in sick, or saying something's bothering them with an injury or something. But no, it was like you mentioned, that city is definitely global GOAT status. I think you could go into many parts of the world and people would know what, where and what Las Vegas is.
Absolutely.
It's, world renowned. It was unbelievable to play there for 2 seasons. A lot of fun, a lot of shows, concerts, nights out. You definitely have to pick your spots, because you're not making NHL millions of dollars money living in Vegas. So you have your connections, you have your hookups, but you can't be doing it all the time, because you won't be saving any kind of money doing it. So we picked our spots, we use our connections, and still have those connections to this day. Like you mentioned, Tattoo Robbie, big shout out to him. He's become our connection now to a lot of people from Burnaby and the Lower Mainland, and now he's big time with the NHL clients and celebs that he deals with now. So it was good to meet him and a lot of people down there through my time, a couple years there, and I still have people I'm in touch with, and when I go down there, hang out with or get together with.
Yeah. Awesome. And you head there often, right? You go, when's the next time you're gonna head down there?
I'm not sure. I was down there in November,
Yeah.
for NJ Dub's wedding.
Joseph White, my
Yeah,
boy,
he's in the Goat Raj.
former chief.
I went down there, caught a Raiders game, went and saw Calvin Harris at XS.
Oh,
There's always something. Love going down there.
yeah.
Maybe head down there for one of our GOAT co-hosts, Roach. His 10-year anniversary is coming up, so maybe there's something brewing there.
That will be unreal. We're all gonna head down there. We're planning on doing a pod at Web Republic. That would be epic.
We're gonna need Tattoo's help there.
Yeah, he'll help us. All right. So you weren't done there, Nucci. You continued to live the dream, play the game you love. Like King James says, you took your talents to Europe. You played in places like Denmark, Scotland, England, the UK, Romania, Italy. Like, you had a lot of stomping grounds. I got a few nicknames that I heard. The King of Fife. Is it Fife or Fife?
Fife.
Okay, the King of Fife, or the Fife King, the Baron of Brasov, the Count of Cortina, the Vegas Voyager, oh, that's from Vegas, the Sultan of Swindon, Carlo Finucci.
Yeah, those are some good ones. The King of Fife is I like that one because Fife is like the area, so like
Yeah.
The Lower Mainland, let's say, or like the interior, and then like it's called the Kingdom of Fife.
Oh,
So
works well.
it needs a king, so that one works really well. I like
And
that one, and I was there 4 years, so
yeah, and you had a great connection with the Fife fans. And I remember this. Oh, Carlo Finucci. Oh, Carlo. I remember you sending us those clips, man. Oh, we're gonna put those up on YouTube. That must have felt good on the ice when you heard that.
yeah, it came on pretty quick. Usually the fans will come up with kind of tunes that a guy's name would go with, and that becomes like your goal song. So after I would score, come sit on the bench, and then the music would go doom, 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 and then like everyone would start chanting. So I always like to get a line change after I would score, so that I could soak that in when I'm on the bench and not skating around the ice still. So that was really cool, and got to experience that for 4 years. Scored a bunch of goals, so I got to hear it a lot, and it was something I'll never forget. And I'm glad there's some video evidence of it, so that I could show it to friends and family.
Oh, I love it.
Let them know. Yeah,
I love it. And another thing, you were in like a really famous game show that we also have a clip of. Unreal. It's like a legit game show, and you actually did really well. You broke the goal of the, I don't know what the details were, but it looked really cool. We're gonna put that up too.
yeah. It was my first year in Fife. One of our like PR lady put an email out to the whole team, and like, does anyone want to be on a game show, which would have been on their like CTV or like channel, basically, in England or in the UK.
Yeah.
ITV it's called, and there was no details of what it would be, and I think I was the only one that replied to the email that was like, yeah, I'm down for it. And then I had a Skype call with a lady from the TV station, gave me an idea of what the show would be about, and it would use my hockey skill, I guess, to try and beat this guy that had done it before. And it was try and beat him, but also beat a certain amount of pucks through the target to win 1,000 pounds. So
oh, that's awesome.
yeah, they came up I had to send them videos that I could actually like hit targets with shooting pucks. And then they sent a crew up to Fife, and they videoed me around the rink at practice, before practice. So all the guys were laughing at me because I went out before practice doing all this silly stuff, and
Yeah.
got down there, flew me down to London to the studios, and did the show, and it was
That's
pretty
sweet.
nerve, but it was. I just wanted to win, not even because of the money, but because I didn't want to get chirped all year from the guys that I wasn't able to do it, and
Yeah.
I couldn't say anything after because it was going to be live on TV, but not right away. So I couldn't say anything that I wanted or anything for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. I want the viewers to see that for sure. All right. Honestly, Nucci, we have about 6-7 minutes left. I applaud your career. Awesome career. Congrats. And now you're a member of the GOAT Radio family. We're just getting started, my brother.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Did it till I was 35, finished off in Italy. So it was a nice way to cap it all off in the motherland. And now I'm back home. It's nice to start this with you guys and be a
Yeah.
part of it. Keeps me in the sports world, along with my coaching and stuff that I do around the rinks with the little guys.
Yeah, you're
And
giving back. I love it. You're giving back big time.
yeah, it's nice. I kind of always did a little bit in the off seasons, but now I'm kind of doing it full time, and then talking about the goats of goats in the Goat Raj, the Garage Mahal, and
Yeah.
I look forward to many more episodes and many more laughs with the boys.
Yeah, for sure. All right, brother. We're gonna get into wicked part of the show, Global Goat Fire. About a minute on each question, okay?
All right.
We got here from Michael Lichtai. Michael Lichtai is actually my former roommate at Michigan Tech. I love this guy, and he's actually a member of the USA national bandy team. You know bandy?
Oh yeah.
And I want him to tell us more about it. It's like they play on a big ice sheet with these sticks, little different sticks, and he could be the GOAT coming out of the American team. So I want him on the pod. He'll be on the pod very soon. But anyways, he asks us, which NHL player has the GOAT style on the ice? Has or had? Whichever.
With has, I would go, or had, probably Fedorov.
Ooh.
He had some
Yeah.
nutty style, tongues out, white skates, all that Nike gear. And then obviously Bure, I think, was kind of ahead of the game with style as well. The Omega skates and the taped ankles, and just the gear was all like he taped his shin pads, and like everything was tight on him. His gloves, like his visor and helmet, like with the flow. I think he probably had the
He
best
looked
style at
nasty.
that time.
Speaking of Fedorov, look at
Wow.
this. Nutty artifact. Fedorov worn skate. This is a part of his style right here. That's for the viewers right there to see. That's part of the Goat Raj. We have some nutty artifacts in here. Sergei Fedorov. I agree with you, Nucci. That's all I got to say. I got this for you from Mark D. The Goat City with the best beer.
I would have to give that to a city I recently got to visit last year, being in northern Italy. It was only about 3-4 hours away. Was Munchen, Munich.
Yeah, I agree.
The Germans do their beer right. So being, I think, in that area, northern Italy, also they have the German, Austrian influence with the beer. I had some great beers there. But yeah, I would have to go with Munich. They pour their beer right with a good amount of, foam or head, as they call it. And the beers are about the size of that skate you were just holding.
Yeah.
They do it right there. They're known for their beer, and that's probably my goat Goat
Awesome.
City or country for beer.
Thank you, Mark D, with that question. Next question. Do you prefer the original 1 versus 8 playoff system or the 2 divisional wildcard format? From M Dregs? I love this question.
Yeah, I think I prefer the old 1 through 8. There's just sometimes divisions are lopsided. You'll have teams in a wild card hunt that have more points than the top 3 division, than the teams on the other side of the division, on the other division, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of like you only have to be as good as your division is, basically, or good in your division. Then you're fine to get one of those 3 spots or battling for that wild card in your division or with the other teams. But
So you like the new system?
No, I like the 1 through 8, like
okay.
Conference, Eastern, Western Conference, who's the best, who's the 8th best, and the rest of them are, battling for those last spots, not where, like I was saying, you top 3 on one side could be weak on one division, and then in the other division, the teams in the wild cards, battling for wild card spots have more points than those 3 teams that are guaranteed a spot because they're at the head of their division. I think shouldn't be division based like that. Divisions in terms of scheduling and having to play, most of your games, let's say, around divisional opponents. But I think the old format was
said, brother.
Nothing was wrong with it. I think it was more about travel.
Yeah.
So teams wouldn't have to travel as much and be able to play interdivisional games. But
yeah, and I kind of like the Cinderella stories, most notably the '94 Canucks going to the finals. They didn't win it, but 1 versus 8, I like that. Nucci, pleasure, my brother. I'm going to have you back in the Goat Garage very soon for some heated debates. I just want to say again, Bell Let's Talk Day, please reach out, get some help. Nucci, thank you, brother.
Absolute pleasure. Glad to be the first interview for the YouTube channel and the Go Radio podcast. And I look forward to the interviews that you and the rest of us will be getting out there as we start to grow our listeners and followers. And it's going to be a lot of fun to get some more athletes and other people in here to interview them, get their input on their goats of goats. And I look forward to it all. And thank you again for having me on here. I look forward to being back in the Goat Garage, and we've got a lot of stuff to cover.
I love it. Yeah, there's lots of sports right now. They're just going to finish up the Aussie Open. You got Djokovic still in the mix. There's 4 guys left. You got the NFL playoffs. Burrows, Mahomes, who's going to take it? You got a UFC fight coming in the next couple of weeks. Lots going on. Lots of content for the pod. Nucci, thanks again. And we're going to finish off with the King of Fife doing the Carlo Finucci chant from the loyal fans of the EIHL. Take it away. This is GOAT Radio.